Hey, this is Julia Rebecca Myron, aka The Messy Meditator, and this is the Messy Meditator podcast, where I'll be getting into the topics of mindfulness, messiness, and life. So let's get into it. So I've spoken about why it's important for us to learn how to sit with it, and now I want to talk about why it's important to know when not to sit with it. So, for starters, what we're doing in meditation and mindfulness practice when we are challenging ourselves to sit with it is we're learning how to stretch our comfort zones. But we don't want to catapult ourselves out of our comfort zones. It's good and it's healthy to stretch our capacity for discomfort. But we don't want to push ourselves to the point of overwhelm or getting too triggered, potentially re-traumatizing ourselves. This idea of sitting with it and sitting with something that is uncomfortable and unpleasant does not mean that we need to endure torture. And even more importantly, it doesn't mean that we should be enduring mistreatment. And by practicing slowing down and getting present, we start to give ourselves space to observe, to recognize what it is that we are experiencing, to recognize if we're having certain feelings and what those certain feelings are and how those certain feelings affect us. And then we get to choose, we get to discern, we get to decide what to do, if anything. And so I've said that, we don't necessarily have to do anything about our unpleasant experiences. We don't. That's true. And that's an important practice to learn how to, as I've said, stretch our capacity for discomfort and unpleasantness so that inevitable discomforts and unpleasant experiences don't completely knock us out. But that doesn't mean forcing ourselves to put up with things that we don't want to put up with. It doesn't mean we can't do anything about it. Just because we don't have to do anything about it doesn't mean we shouldn't do anything about it. You get to decide. And the more you practice this, the more you learn how to discern in a healthier way. You're learning how to respond instead of react. And so you can do something reactively, automatically, without thinking about it, and it might not be the best decision. You could do that same thing consciously and intentionally and carry it out in a way that actually is beneficial. That intentionality can make a huge difference. Bringing awareness to what it is that we're doing can make a big difference. And so it's important to know what we can sit with and what we don't want to sit with. And so you'll hear the word acceptance come up a lot in mindfulness, and that can get misinterpreted very easily. It can get misinterpreted as accepting that something is okay, when what it really means is just accepting that something is. Because no matter what the situation, when we can get present, get aware, and start as a starting point at the place of this is what's happening right now. Now, of course, disclaimer, I'm talking about general life stuff. I'm not talking about an emergency, a traumatic situation, a crisis, nothing like that. I'm just talking about typical life challenges. And so we slow down, we get present, we become aware of what's happening. And from that awareness, we decide what to do next. Can I sit with this? Do I want to sit with this? Even if I don't want to sit with this, can I still sit with it? Or is this something that I feel like I need to do something about? But the key is that sometimes simply being present and being aware can be a critical tipping point in our lives. From that presence and awareness, we can make more intentional, conscious choices. Even if some of them are the same choices we've already been making, at least now we know we're making them, we know why we're making them, and we're making them intentionally. And then there are some choices that we might change our minds. We might decide to make different choices, behave differently, respond differently. And in those instances, we can really start to see our lives transform when we start to consciously make healthier choices for ourselves. And once we do that, that can bring on a whole new load of challenges. And with each new challenge, we start the same way. We start where we are. We start in the moment. We start with presence, with awareness. And from each moment of awareness and each challenge, we can ask ourselves again, can I sit with this? Do I want to sit with this? Is it okay if I sit with this? And if I don't want to sit with this, what's the next right step? So it's important that when we take on a practice like this, that we really trust ourselves, that we get honest with ourselves and we trust ourselves. And there's a whole lot more I could say just on trusting ourselves, but I think I'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Ciao.